So welcome back to a special Room 1-on-1 from the Homeboys, with another European adventure on the horizon for Celtic, with Norwegian champions Bodø Glimt travelling to Scotland next week. I needed someone close to the ground to give us their knowledge and thoughts. So who better than former 1860 Munich, Rosenborg, Norway, and importantly for us, Celtic player Vidar Riseth. Well, Vidar, how are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Really happy with Celtic just now, as you can imagine.
Yeah. That's good. It's really good.
Well, Vidar, usually on these shows I get our guests to give us a wee rundown on who they are and opportunity to talk about themselves. But since it's your good self, I'll change that up and we'll have a look together at your history and your career. So, Vidar is born on the 19th of April 1972 in Frosta, a small municipality in Norway. So you joined the youth setup of Neset, a local lower league side. In 1991, as a fresh-faced 19-year-old, you left your home team for the big lights across the water to Trondheim and the famous black and white of Rosenborg. However, 2 years previously, the club had made an attempt to sign you, but your father stalled in the move. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, I come from a small place in Norway. The name is Frosta, and so I'm a farmer. My parents they have a big farm, and from I was really young, we have to work really hard on the farm because my dad he said you need to work hard if you're gonna make some money. So I work really hard, and between I work and with the pigs and take up some potatoes, and they work really hard. I play football almost all the time, and then Rosenborg they saw me in the lower league in Norway, and they contact my dad and said we want to sign up Vidar for Rosenborg. I was around 17, I think. And so my dad said to Nils Arne Eggen, the coach from Rosenborg, come to Frosta and to our farm. I remember he come into our house and he sit down with my dad and he said, I want to sign up Vidar. And my dad said no. And I was in the other room because I stand there and listen. And because my dad he was quite he was a strong man, and he just said, okay, Vidar, he gonna be now he go in school and he want to be a plumber, so he need to get this what you call this the letter. Yeah. Exactly. First, and when he's finished that, then he can come and play for Rosenborg. And I thought, oh no, I'm never going to be a professional football player. And Nils Arne, he's a clever man as well. So he said, yeah, I understand. So let us find a solution so he can train with us for 2 days in the week and still play for my farmer club in Division 3 in Nesse Football Club. And so I start there, and 1 year after I got the letter and I'm a plumber. So I got this letter, and then my dad say, okay, now you can go, and now you can play football.
Fantastic. Can you still fix a toilet?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, okay. My wife, if she have a problem, she call the plumber. I don't know, I understand why, but she do that because she don't believe I can do it.
Okay, so you made your debut in 1992 and you played more games in the 1993 season, 14 games and 5 goals, as you helped Rosenborg to retain the title. Coincidentally, your arrival was the start of the famous Rosenborg 13 titles in a row, that period of domination. So can I ask you, Trondheim would be kind of local to yourself. I know it's across the water, but would you have been a Rosenborg fan? And after that, what was the standard like for you? I mean, was it that Rosenborg team, as I remember, outstanding? I mean, obviously Harold Brackback ended up with Celtic, they beat Real Madrid and stuff like that. But what was it like for you as a young man in that time?
You know, yeah, because Rosenborg was the biggest team in Norway at this moment, and it's a huge club. And the coach, Nils Arne Eggen, he was unbelievable good. He also got offer later. Liverpool tried to sign him up as
Really?
well. Yeah,
Wow.
and Blackburn and 1860 Munich. So he had a few offer, but he still want to stay in Norway and just work with the club. And he picked player who want to come into the team and not and who is more like a team player, you know, because he want to have a team, he want to have a system. He want to play 4-3-3, you know, and
Very ahead of his time then, eh?
What?
I would say very ahead of his time playing in that formation at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the beginning, you know, he's struggling a little bit, but after 1.5 year, you know, we start to win everything, and we took all the title every year. We played in the Champions League, and what you said, you know, we beat Chelsea, we beat AC Milan.
That's right. Yeah.
Many big teams, and so that was a good experience for me to play for Rosenborg, and yeah, and after that I also want to try try to play in Britain, because every Norwegian football player they look at English football every day on the telly. So we want to go, and when I got the chance, I just left Rosenborg.
So you left Rosenborg and you made the jump to Kongsvinger.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was a team based in southwest of the country. So it's a wee bit away from your home. They had in the 1992 season pushed Rosenborg all the way for the title, but the season following they kind of struggled. But they'd also competed in the UEFA Cup playing against Juventus. So you say you decided to leave. Was that more a case of you wanted to play football, or did you want to test yourself playing regularly?
No, I want to play regular, because I talked with Nils Arne Eggen, and I was a striker at this time, and for Rosenborg, and Göran Sørloth, he was the captain for Rosenborg. He played in the national team, and he was really good. So he broke his leg, and then they just give me a chance. So I played 11 games for Rosenborg, and I scored 16 goals as a striker, and then I got offer from every Premier team in Norway, and then also every team they want to sign me up. And Nils Arne, and Göran Sørloth, he come back, you know, he was the captain, so he goes straight into the team. And then Nils Arne, he said to me, okay, we can do a loan, because if you go for a loan to one of the other clubs, you know, and when he gonna be professional maybe in 1 year's time, then you come back again, and then you play for us. And I said, that's a good deal. So I went to Rosenborg, and Rosenborg was a small team in Norway, and they played in middle of the table, but then I played regularly every week.
So, as you said, it was interesting when I was doing my research and I kind of listened to another couple of podcasts that you said you were a striker, considering what we knew you as at Celtic. Because let's be honest, we'll come to it later, but I don't really know your best position at Celtic. I mean, I watched you for Norway, where I would say centre mid, maybe even centre half later on. But at Celtic, like I say, we'll come to that. So at this point, as you say, you're a goal scorer at this point, and you had 3 seasons there, and you helped the side to a fifth, an 11th, and a 7th place finish. Again, a regular scorer on the side, 26 goals in 66 games, playing in the Champions League also. But interestingly, you spent a period on loan, 1995-96. You spent the season there at Luton Town in the old English First Division, which is now the Championship. So what happened there? I mean, you spoke about you had a desire to move to England and try it out because it's the glamour and stuff. But from what I heard, it kind of never lived up to your expectations.
No, there was a tough period for me to come to Luton. I remember the first game I had. There was a friendly against Watford, and there was a good start because I scored 3 goals the first game, and but I was there, 1.5 year in, and I think I had 4 new coaches because they got sacked and a new one come in and it's sacked, and they always bring new player in, and I got an injury, so I was out for like 6 months, and then he just bought another striker, and then I went back because I was there for loan, so I went back to Kongsvinger, and this year in Kongsvinger I played the last 14 games and I scored 11 goals. And then Lask Linz in the Bundesliga in Austria, they bought me.
So that's a massive move for yourself personally, because you're still a young man and it's your first real move. It's not a loan move, and so your experience in England, you kind of from what I've read before, you weren't impressed with how the English, certainly in the Championship at that point, conducted themselves in terms of fitness and stuff like that. Now, when you moved to Austria, how was that experience in comparison?
Yeah, it was a tough time for me in Luton, and at this time, I was still young player, and then was the biggest newspaper in Norway. They said, okay, Vidar, he left Norway, went to Luton, but didn't success. So now we have to come back, and they almost said, no, he's finished. He only gonna play. And then I sit home with my wife, and I remember I said to her, "Oh, I could just gonna show them." So, and then I went back to Norway just for a loan, and I played well. And then I went to Austria. After my first year in Austria, I was on the player of the year in Austria.
Wow, very good.
And then I started got the offer from Venezia and other teams from Italy, and but I didn't sign because there was a World Cup, and I was in the squad for the World Cup. We played in the same group as Scotland in 1998, so I just wait, and then after we beat Brazilian, I just remember there was a shock for the whole world. I think we beat Brazilian, and we played.
I like the way you so casually said that. We beat Brazil. We beat.
Yeah, there was a shock, but we had a really good team. We look at I played every game in this World Cup. We have like Ole Gunnar Solskjær, Tore Andre Flo, we had Henning Berg, Man United.
Yep.
We had Ronny Johnsen, Man United. We had Erik Mykland played in Greece, and Stig Inge Bjørneby played for Liverpool. We had a really good team. So and a fantastic coach as well. And but after this tournament, I think I had 15 offer from everywhere.
Wow.
So I went to Valencia because John Carew, the Norwegian striker, John Carew, they signed they signed up John Carew, and they want to sign me as well. So I went to Valencia and talked with them, and then I was on my way to Venezia, but then Celtic, they just come up, and my friend, he played for Celtic, Henrik Larsen. So Henrik, he just called me, hey, you have to come to Celtic. It's a great club, and I know Henrik Larsson from before. So I didn't go to. I fly straight from Valencia, and I didn't go to Italy. I just fly straight to Glasgow Airport. And when I come to Celtic, I heard so much about Celtic and the stadium and the fans, of course, because yeah, it was amazing, and everybody in Norway they know about Celtic and the fans and all the singing, and so yeah, it's a huge club. So I just talked with Henrik in the ground, and Henrik just said to me, Vidar, this is the best club. You have to come to this club, and then I just signed up for 3 years.
Well, there you go. I'd put two and two together, and I presumed it would have been Harold Brattbakk, because you'd played with Harold Brattbakk at Rosenborg, had you not? Like, as young players. So I just presume so. You knew Henrik Larsson before you joined Celtic?
I played Henrik in the national team a few times. So
Right, okay.
I met Henrik there. And also Johan Mjølby and Mark Reaper. We played against Denmark as well. Yeah, most of the players in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, they know each other.
Martin Vikost as well now, I think.
Yeah.
So that's interesting in your career there, Vidar, that you're talking about. They were talking about your Luton spell when you were a failure and you had to come home, and then you went to Austria, and I think Austria, that's when you started playing centre mid. Is that correct?
Yeah, I played a striker there as well, and there was it was really fun, and I had a good coach, and he believed on me, and that is important, of course. And then we got an injury on the central midfield, and in the national team I played, in different positions. So the coach, he just said to me, Vidar, could you play on Saturday in the central midfield, because we don't have anyone who I can put on at the moment, because the captain, he just broke his leg. And I said, no problem, I can play there. So I played defensive midfield, and after that, I played there for 2 years, and that was my position, and that was great.
And were you already playing for the national team at that point? Because I went and looked when you were starting getting involved in the national team, and it seemed around that spell. And I just presume, was it at that point that they kind of went, well, Vidar, he's very strong up front, he's strong in the midfield, and he'll work for the team. So is that basically where you became, because like you said, you became a mainstay in that Norwegian squad at that point?
Yeah, to say it this way, in the squad, I played on the left wing, because we had a system in Norway. Drillo, he had a system in Norway, and he just want to play the ball in the air. When we won the ball, just kick it up, and I just have to go up to on the floor. He was the striker. Then we had Jostein Flo on
that's right. Yeah,
on the right, the big guy, and then I was on the left side. So when Stig Inge from behind, when he got the ball, he just kicked it up to Jostein, and on the right back there was Henning, so he just kicked it up to me, and I tried to win this ball in the air, and Tor André Flo, he just go to and try to score the goals. That was the system we played. So I fight with another player. So there was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So we fight about the same position. And if we've been playing on the ground, then I haven't played. So I was really happy because of the system, because Ole Gunnar, he was so good on the ground, but in the air he was terrible, So I was good in the air. So I always said, because of the system, I played in a national team. Ole Gunnar was on the bench.
It's interesting you talk about that Norwegian team, because I remember in 1994 that the Norwegian team was actually rated at second in the world on the FIFA ranking. And when you guys played in 98, you were rated at 11th in the world. And you think of that, So you were playing for a team that was rated 11th in the world. It's not a bad achievement.
Yeah, that was good. And my first 36 game for the national team, we didn't lost one time. And there were yeah we played really well, you know. And yeah, I just remember when we played, we was so strong, and everybody just believed on ourselves. And I remember when we played France, you know, in the team you have Zinedine Zidane and all the good players, but we believe we can beat everyone, you know. And yeah, we played really well at the moment.
Tell me, are you somebody who exchanges jerseys? I mean, would you
Oh yeah, yeah,
have you
yeah.
have you got any interest in jerseys?
I had twice David Beckham.
Oh,
Uh,
very good.
so I have Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo, of
The
course.
good. Oh, you've got his jersey.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So when they played Brazilian, I changed within. I have Zinedine Zidane. I have Henry. He was good when we played for Arsenal.
He was good.
Uh,
He was good.
and yeah, and I have twice Raúl in when we played Real
Wow.
Madrid. So I have a few good names.
And do you have them all up on the wall?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have them.
Class. You need to send me a photo of that. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, I will do.
Right.
I will do.
So you got the big move. September the 21st, 1998, you were signed by the late, great Slovakian manager Joseph Vengos, and you started your Celtic career. In fact, you were the first signing made by Dr. Joe, when the fee was said to be around £1.5 million. Now, I was going to ask you, how did the move come about? But you've already touched on that. But first of all, let's talk about Dr. Joe, and let's talk about your relationship with him. Dr. Joe is still a loved and revered character at Celtic,
Mhm.
even though it wasn't a great time. But his legacy kind of lasted, obviously, when he brings in Lubo and he brings young Johan and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, what was your relationship like with Dr. Joe? And then, can you tell me what the standard was like coming from Austria to Scotland? I mean, would have been similar?
Yeah, I think if you look at the level the level was quite high, but I also felt when I come to Celtic, the club they said they're gonna sign up a few players and yeah, some big names as well, and they're going to spend some money. Yeah, they told us as well. But I also felt the big name they never come, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at this time. So Josef, yeah, we are not. I have to say we are not the biggest name, you know, like me. Johan is not the biggest name, but we are more like, what can I say, normal player, you know. But uh, they told us they're going to sign up some big names as well. And then when I heard big names, then I'm thinking the caliber like Henrik Larsson, you know, in on this level, because they are much better in us. But I have to say, I never heard about Lubo Moravcik before. And when Lubo Moravcik come to the club, and I said, everybody just who the fuck is the Lubo? We never heard about him, you know. And when he come in, he didn't talk at all English, you know, and there was he was struggling the first day, and but you know, we went on the training speech, and okay, he didn't talk so good English, but he could talk with his legs. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. The first
Wow.
training, we just looked at each other and said, "What the fuck is happening here?" Because he was outstanding. He was so good, and yeah, Lubo was a great signing, I have to say.
It's amazing how football has changed so much, and you know about everybody. Everybody knows about everybody. And you're right, at that point when Celtic signed him, you would have remembered the young fella John Paul McBride. He was only a
Hmm.
young guy, and Celtic sold him for 200,000. And a week later, we signed this 33-year-old for 300,000. And you're sitting going, what about the youth? And then, like you say, the first time I seen him against Dundee, I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. That's mega interesting that you guys on the training pitch. That's brilliant. So you're right. You're saying you come in, Lubo come in, Johan Mjalby, he just scored against the English, and he came in, ended up with fun. Mark Viduka also came in. So as much as he must have impressed. Yeah, well, I say that he went missing for 6 months.
Yeah, but I think Mark Viduka, there was Kenny Daglish later who signed Mark Viduka up, didn't he?
No.
No.
It was Dr. Joe. Do you remember Dr. Joe signed him, and then he went on strike? He went.
Yeah.
I think he went back home for like 6 months or something. Something mad.
I can tell you a story about that.
Right. Yes.
Because I think we're gonna share a room with Mark Viduka. I think there was we play away against Aberdeen. I'm not sure, but we played away, and I share the room with him. And in the morning when I wake up, I didn't see Mark, so I thought, okay, maybe he went down early for a breakfast, So I just went down, took a breakfast. I didn't think so much about it. Back to the room and just look at the telly, sleep a little bit more, and when I wake up, and then I just gonna go down for the food before the game, and then Kenny said to me, Vidar, where is Mark? And I said, I don't know, I haven't seen him. And I thought he was downstairs, and so they start to look, and we couldn't find him. He was not in the hotel, and so he what they said, he just wake up, go straight to the airport, and then he just fly back home. And I remember I told the story to the newspaper in Glasgow, and the next game when we played at home, and the newspaper was like, Vidar wake up, and he didn't. Viduka was gone. So I went to the ground, and it was so fun because I can remember the Celtic fans. They start to sing. There was like, Vidar wake up this morning, and Viduka was gone. And they just started singing and singing. Yeah. And I remember they also started to sing about his wife, because she was beautiful. You remember her? She was really nice, and the good thing, she stayed in Glasgow. They said, it was so much fun.
Brilliant. Oh, well, that's class. So I'm going to, before I come on to, I want to talk about pubs. There's two pub stories I want to kind of touch on, but before that, let's talk about it. 21st of November 1998. You started the game. Celtic 5, Rangers 1 at Celtic Park. Again, Lubo the man.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was that like for you? I mean, it's funny now looking at it that you chose Celtic over massive clubs from Serie A and La Liga, right? It's quite humbling to hear that. And a night like that must have justified it, because I know your time at Celtic wasn't a great time for any of us, but a night like that, tell me.
Yeah, when we when you beat Rangers 5-1, that was unbelievable, and the atmosphere in the stadium was crazy, and Henrik, Henrik played so well as well, and this day was the best day for me in Celtic, because it was so fun to play, and the good thing about this Old Firm games, it's always yellow card, red cards, it's always tough, and I hope what can I say, that's the way they have to be when Celtic and Rangers meet each other, because it was so fun to play this game, and Lubo and Henrik, they were outstanding this game, and yeah, it was great.
I mean, for guys like you, and I hope I don't come across as patronising and stuff, but you've always been a worker. You work hard for the team, you work hard for your country, and you work hard for the fans. And you're right, when Celtic and Rangers meet, the workers have got to hit each other to allow the good players to go and win you the game. Guys like Lubo and stuff like and Henrik, you guys have got to do the dirty work to let these guys go and get the winners and bits of joy.
Yeah, it's like more like we have when we have the tactic before the games. It's I remember there was another game. Kenny Dalglish, he said to me. Now he said in the dressing room, he said, "Okay, Vidar, you are an asshole on the pitch, and you can go in and tackle, and you go and win the header. You are fast, but you cannot dribble. You are terrible on the ground. But so the job you're gonna do is when Henrik Larsson or Lubo, when they lose the ball, you're gonna run and fight to get it back again. But don't start to dribble. Just play it back to Henrik and Lubo. That's your work. That's your job." I just loved it, and I know that okay. I know I'm good in the air. I know I can tackle, and just give the ball back to them. Then I've done my job.
Oh, brilliant. Especially when Kenny Dalglish is telling you that, I think you kind of listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay, so we'll talk about that season. Right, as I say, that season wasn't great. It was unfortunate, but we'll talk about the 3-0 defeat at Celtic Park. Hard day for us all. But you're quite infamous that day for your tackle. It was described as silly. What was your memory of that?
I remember.
The atmosphere was wild.
Yeah. What was his name? The guy I tackle again.
Claudio Reyna.
Yeah, Claudio Reyna. Yeah. I remember, before we went on the pitch. Now we went on the pitch, and then he just turned around and he just said to me, "We're gonna beat you all, you Norwegian prick," he said to me, "and I just gonna tackle you," he said, and that was the first thing he said to me. And then I remember I just said back then, "Okay, but you have to be careful because maybe I tackle you first," I said to him. So we start, that was the before the game starts, and there was lots of tackling, and there was a big fight, and we shouting together, the whole game. And then I have to say, well, I saw him just run after the ball. I was a little bit before him, but I just stop a little bit, so he gonna come in front of me, and then I just go in for the tackle. And yeah, it was a silly tackle. Of course, I didn't even look at the referee because I know there's gonna be a red card. Straight into the dressing room, and I thought, oh, that was so stupid tackle. But the good, there was what was really funny about it, the next week, I just took my wife to the town, and we just go for a meal. And then there was a lot of Celtic fans. They just come up to me and they said, "Hey, Vidar, that was the best thing ever. You should break his leg, That was the best thing ever." And I went into the restaurant, and the chef would just come up to me, and they said, "Oh, it was the best. The food is free for you today. Is free." So then I understand, how much that means for the fans, and I just love it.
Good man. Right, so that season, like we say, that kind of, you missed out in the cup final, a game we get beat off the Rangers. So then the star signings come in. Kenny Dalglish comes in as director of football, and John Barnes comes in. Now, give me your early impressions of that dynamic. I mean, John Barnes has done a lot of finger pointing since. I think a lot of it unjustly, personally speaking, but I wouldn't know. It's his opinion. What was your memories of that? Because we started that season outstandingly well, and then as well, as soon as Henrik went down, the kind of team went off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, when Kenny come to the club, and you know, the fans, they were really happy he come back again. But and then, but when he signed up John Barnes, there were many of the fans, you know, they just said, "Oh, is this the right signing to
Mhm.
sign him up?" And John Barnes had the philosophy, he want to play one-touch football, you know, get the ball, play and move, play and move. But what I felt what was wrong, you know, we had a really good team, and when we, for example, when Aberdeen attack and when we win the ball, you know, we had so many good plays, so we can just go straight to their goal and try to score.
Mhm.
But what we with John, we just start to pass the ball, you know, up and back and up and back. So Aberdeen, when they lost the ball, they had 11 player on the right side again, you know. So we just played, and Henrik, he just stand in front there, and he didn't get across, you know. And there was yeah, I think the system he want to bring in was wrong,
Mhm.
because A.L. Berkovic, really good player, you know, when he come to Celtic, but you know, he want to just play one-touch football and move, and we never come around on the side, or we come to the goal and try to score goals.
Mhm.
And there was yeah, we're struggling, and I think the system was not correct for Celtic and for Scottish football.
Right. But before we come on to kind of a couple of wee pressing things, the what do you think happened at Celtic with regards your own position? I mean, you've explained in the past that people have I said to you, "Can you do this for me?" And you've always been a yes, I'm for the team. Do you regret that sometimes, especially when it came to Celtic, instead of saying, "No, no, this is where I should be playing," or was it just a case of you had three managers and or four
Yeah.
managers in 3 years?
Yeah, you know, I played in different positions, you know, week after week, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what you said, because then I just felt, oh, 1 week I played really well, you know, and I just looking forward to the next game, because
Yeah,
I was gonna play in this position, and then I play maybe right back, and then I will left wing or
that's
central
right. Yeah.
midfield or defender. So everybody want, of course, to play in the same position, but more like Kenny said it, and yeah, in the most of the team where I've been playing, the coaches has said to me, you know, Vidar, you can play in different position, so it's good to have a player who can play in different position, but you know, it's not always the best thing if
No.
you know, but still you get lots of games, of course, but yeah, what can I say? It's not the best solution for a football
No.
player.
And especially in a time where the club was so unsettled as well. I mean, it's a
Mm,
I would imagine in a strong team and you were coming in and playing, it would still be frustrating, but you're backed up by the fact you're in a winning team,
mm,
whereas you're in a struggling team and you're moving about and like you say, you probably feel that you could benefit the team remaining in your best position, and it's
mm,
just not. I can understand your frustration.
yeah.
Right, I'm going to poke your memory here for the next 5 minutes. Right, so this talk about again, it's terrible to talk about defeats, but the Inverness Caledonian Thistle defeat. Now we know what happened on the pitch. It was a bad day for Celtic. Blah blah blah. We want to talk about the dressing room. Right, so the dressing room. The story goes that Mark Viduka refused to leave, refused at half time, refused to go on the pitch. And then Ian Wright started, and then John Barnes started, and then Lubo started laughing. What's your memories of the halftime Inverness?
Yeah, yeah. What can I say? You know, it's that happens so many times. You know, one or two players, they have a fight or something in the dressing
Mm-hmm.
room. That's normal. That's
Yeah.
in Norway everywhere. You know, and but I remember at this time there was. Many players, you know, there was a big fight in there, you know, because when I say fight, you know, it's they were so angry, and Viduka, he was so angry, you know, and starting to shout to John Barnes. So they're shouting around, you know, and there was big temperature. Yeah, what can I say? There was maybe, okay, I have listened to many fights in the dressing room, but this was maybe the worst fight I heard ever. That was unbelievable. I heard about before when Alex Ferguson took the boots and throw Beckham, you know, but yeah, what's happening in the dressing room there, I cannot say everything, but there was that was terrible.
It's funny now we can look back and laugh at these things. Right, so I touched on, a lot of people won't know this, right? And me and you, last time we spoke, I brought it up, right? So I remember I used to go to a famous Celtic pub in Glasgow called the Brazen Head. And I was in one night, and there was a certain player behind the bar serving. It was yourself. Tell me your relationship with the Brazen Head and why you became so fond of it. Right, I need to stress, you weren't in there getting super drunk and you were basically just enjoying yourself in the pub. I just want to know, how did that come about?
You know, what can I say? It's the Brazen Head for me, and I heard so much about the Brazen Head before I come to Glasgow,
Right,
and
okay.
I've been on the internet and look from videos and everything, and I just said, oh, because I like to go out and take a beer and sing and have a party, you know, and I think it's great to meet the fans as well, because you know, even if you lose, you know, they can be a little bit angry, but also when you start there and talk with them, you know, and then in the end, you know, it's the fans, they are really nice, you know, everywhere. So Brazen Head for me, when I had the chance, you know, I went to Brazen Head, and also after I retired, I've been many times back to Glasgow, and I go to Brazen Head because I bring my friends from Norway in my work where I work today, and I tell them about Brazen Head, and they think, okay, it's good, but I don't think it's so good what I tell them. And I said, okay, let's travel to Glasgow, and we go there, and you will see, you know. And the last time I was there was, you know, we come in, there was a live music, everybody singing, and then my Norwegian fans, they just said, two of them, they are Celtic supporters today. They've been in 15 years Man United supporters. Now they are
Oh,
Celtic
yeah.
supporters, because I said this is unbelievable. So I just every time when I go to Glasgow, I just try to go to the pub.
Fantastic. Right, well, I'm going to actually bring up another incident in a Glasgow bar. Right, and I think it was around March in the year 2000. Kennedy Dalglish had a famous press conference in a bar in Glasgow, and he was flanked by a certain man in a leather jacket. That was
Yeah.
you. So I know it was a long time ago. God, we're talking 22 years ago. But what can you remember of that scenario?
Yeah, just to remember, Kenny said to me, Vidar, we're going to have a press conference tomorrow. Are you ready? And I said, yeah, I'm ready. So, and then he said, we're not going to have the press conference here in Parquet. We're just going to go. So where are we going to go? I said to him, hey, you will see. You will see. So we went to the pub, you know, walked in there, and what Kenneth just said to me, I just want to have a press conference where the fans also can ask questions, you know, not only
All
the
right.
press. And I thought that was brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
So we went in there, and there was. Yeah, there was experience, because I never done it before.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So before that season ends, the one high point of the season, Celtic win the League Cup at Hampden, and you open the goal scoring that day. Now, so you leave Celtic not long after. However, at this point, You are Vidar Riseth, former Celtic player, cup final scorer. How was that day?
Oh, that was we just the fans they've been looking for this game as well because when we lost the league and it's important to get trophies and then we had the chance to get this trophy. And I remember because Henrik Larsson he had this injury. And before the game, I played on the right back, and I don't score so often. And when you play right back, it's difficult to score. So before the game, Henrik come up to me, and I stand there with Henrik, Lubo, and Harald Martin, I think. And then Henrik said, "I put £100 on you gonna be the goal scorer today." And I said, have you been drunk? Have you been drinking? I said to him. No, he said, I just have this feeling. He said, okay. And yeah. And after the I scored and we won the final. And I just after I scored, I just look up on the stand, and Henrik he just stand like this. And I got to show you the money. And I went up, we took the trophy, and Henrik just said, Vidar, I'm gonna pay for your drink tonight.
I can imagine that would be a big bar bill, Vidar.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so that season ends. Ken Dalglish steps down for his role. John Barnes is left by that point. Martin O'Neill joins the club. Now, from listening to our previous podcast you were on, you were very, very enthusiastic about Martin O'Neill and his kind of revolution, because that's what it was. But unfortunately, never really worked out for you. Do you want to tell me what happened in your own words?
Yeah, I think it's a great signing to get Martin in, because when Martin come in, he was a great coach. Every place, they just loved him because he was so honest, and when he come in, I had a injury, and then he start to buy some players as well. But still normally you get angry when you lose your position, but Martin he was such a great guy, and even when I sit on the bench, he said always you have to be ready, and my contract end this year. I just had a half year again, and then he just said, okay, Vidar, it's gonna be up to you if you want to sign a new deal, because we want to sign a new deal, or we have to sell you. He said to me, you are a player who can play in many different positions, but I cannot promise you a position. He said to me, And he was so honest. He was so good. And what I saw, when they started winning and winning, and and then I got the offer from Everton, and Martin come to me and so I said, we got the offer from Everton, and we agreed the price. So no, it's up to you, but we don't want to lose money on you. So we want to sell you if you're not gonna sign up. And then I said, okay, I want to go and talk with them.
Was that Walter Smith at the time?
Walter Smith, yeah. So they had I think in the defense they have two injuries, so they need players, so they have to happen straight away. And then my agent Rune Hauge, he just phoned me up and he said, I have another offer as well, and that is 1860 Munich in the Bundesliga. And he said, I want you to go. We talk with Everton now, and then we talk with 1860, and you can sign up for Celtic again. So you have three options. So then it's up to you. And then I went to 1860, and they were number 3 in the Bundesliga at this moment, and they played well. They had signed up Davor Suke, he was there, and they have Thomas Hessler, he was there.
Okay.
So they had a really good team, big names, you know, and the coach, he said, Vidar, if you sign here, you're gonna play central midfield, defensive midfield, and yeah, I just felt, you know, he wanted me so much, and I was a part of his team, so that's why I signed up for 1860, and one of my best friend in the national team, he played there as well, Erik Mykland. So yeah, that was a good signing for me.
Before we jump on to 1860 in your spell there, because you went to, I mean, Munich, what a city, Munich, that's another fantastic football city. But so your time at Celtic, you decided to go there, which is interesting that you chose the Bundesliga over the EPL, but you say your reasons and they all kind of make sense in a football way. But so you had an unsettled time, if not a bad. You never had a bad time at Celtic. You had some really good moments and some low moments, whatever.
Yeah.
But you played with Lubo Moravcik. You played with Mark Viduka. You played with Stelian Petrov. You played with Paul Lambert. The aforementioned Mark Reaper, Johan Mjalby, the magnificent Seven, Henrik Larsson. Tell me.
Ian Wright.
Raphael Scheidt.
So
what was the script there? I don't need you to talk bad about him, right? But was he as limited as suggested, or was it just a case of he never fitted in?
You mean Ian Wright?
Raphael.
Oh, Raphael. Yeah, Raphael. Uh, I haven't heard about Raphael before he come to Celtic. You know, there was yeah, it was a difficult time for him. Um, I just heard he was a national player for Brazilian. You know, but you know, I heard yeah, if you go back, you know, there was in Brazil they have so many players, you know, and I also heard, I'm not gonna talk bad thing about him, but you know, when you're a national player for Brazil, and do you think, wow, that's you know, you have to be good, you know. But I also heard we signed up for Rosenborg a player as well who was national. He been into the national, have 2 games. But after we find out, you know, the agent, they have paid the coach and everything, so he get his two games and then out again. You know, I don't say that's happening with Rafael, but you know, I think it was a tough time for him when it come to Glasgow, because in Brazilian they play, you know, what can I say? The movable ball is not so much tackle, you know.
That was what I'd heard. The journalist Tim Vickery had suggested that he likes to get the ball and walk out of defence.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, in Scotland you've got an ex-plumber chasing you.
Yeah, you know, it's I think there was he just come from another culture. I think he was played great in Brazilian, you know, because they play different kind of football. You know, they move the ball more in Germany as well. You know, it's like you don't go in so much tackle as England or Scotland, and so I remember the first training when he come on the training ground as well. You know, he got a tackle like everybody. You know, and he couldn't understand what's happening. You know, because that's so he was a great guy. You know, he was a really nice man, and but you know, he was really frustrated because I think he have heard. Of course, he have heard about Celtic, and he looking forward to come and play for Celtic, such a big club. But I don't think he expect the kind of football we play in Scotland, because it's quite rough, and I think that was the problem there, because he was a great guy.
Good. That's good to hear, because we never hear anything about him. We heard he was rubbish and he left and he cost loads of money. And like you say, he's a human being, isn't he? So he might mentally just know a work for him. So, but so like you say, your time, you played 43 games, you scored 5 goals for Celtic, and your time was up, and you moved to the Bundesliga. And now, you've now took another step up in standard. I would be a Bundesliga fan So I mean, to go, I appreciate the 1860 are having their problems now, but when you went to them, like you just said, they were signing top name players. They were a good team. You were there for 2 years. You had 2 mid-table finishes, which is not bad return. So how was that experience? Was it fun? Was it good getting into a hard league? But you were, like you suggested, you were now playing in a position and you were trusted by the manager.
Mm. Yeah, it was a good move for me, you know, because the Bundesliga is it's what can I say, is a great league because you have so many good players in, and almost every clubs they have lots of money, you know, because yeah, almost every week you play for 70, 80, 90,000 people, you know, and of course it's coming lots of money in. And for when you have the clubs like 1860 as well, you know, they have private jet, and almost every clubs have that, and everything was, yeah, everything was good, and so they could spend the money and on players. So what can I say? It's well, and we have like call it old firm as well, you know. By Munich against 1860 Munich, you know, it was a big battle, and but still, if we played for 85,000, the atmosphere was really good. But it's not near what Celtic Glasgow, you know. It's
Really?
yeah, Celtic,
Wow.
with the old firm, you know, Celtic against Rangers is the best ever. You know, it's even when we played against Bayern for 85,000 people in the ground. You know, it's the atmosphere is really good, but you know, to play for 60,000 in Glasgow is it's the best thing ever.
That's interesting. Talking about Munich, did you enjoy staying in Munich? So, I mean, I enjoy Munich. I think Munich's a fantastic city. Did you enjoy being in
Oh
that
yeah,
city?
yeah, I enjoy. Yeah, Munich was a really good town to live in. You know, and when we signed, I think 2 weeks after I signed, they signed up Davor Suker.
Oh,
Yeah, Davor
wow.
Suker, he come, you
Imagine,
know.
and what was he like?
Oh, he was, you know, he was, what can I say? More like when Celtic signed up Lubo Moravcik, they said, oh, think we if Celtic could have seen Lubo for 10 years before, you know, could and exactly the same that said with David Zucker when he come from Arsenal. He went from Real Madrid to Arsenal, Arsenal, and to us, and yeah, when we signed him up, you know, his left foot, you know, was unbelievable. He's scoring goals, and he was a really good man. And yeah, I learned a lot of him because when we played Dortmund or Bayern, you know, the big games, he was always took it easy. He was nervous, you know, because he been playing all from like Barcelona, Madrid, and all this stuff. And in the World Cup, he was best goal scorer in the World Cup, you know. So, but he was a really nice boy, and
And he
that's
was a
what I
good guy as well,
remember.
was he?
He's a really good guy. You know, he was not big nose, what we say, you know, in Norway. He was
Yeah.
even the young players, you know. He just helped them to come up. You know,
Good.
he was a big star, but he was not a star who was not good. You know.
That's brilliant. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. So, you had a good time over there, like I said, a couple of mid-table finishes, but then you made the move back to the Tipper League.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you were back with Rosenborg, and from everything I looked at, you had a fantastic return. You joined in for the final 2 titles of the aforementioned 13 titles in a row. You come in at centre half. You won Player of the Season for the club on your first
Yeah.
year back, and then you became a centre mid again. You were heading up the park in your old age. I don't know how
Yeah.
that happened. You became club captain. You won a lot of titles. How was that experience for you personally? How was it for the family? But how was it to for the club, do you think, to bring your experience and everything you learned? You just spoke about it. You've just played with Thomas Haslett. You just played with Davor Suker. You played with Henrik Larsson, and you're bringing this back to your club. I mean, there must have been big expectations of you.
Yeah, it's normally, when you come back to Norway after being abroad, they said, okay, no, they just bought a player who starting to retire. So that was the first thing they said. So, but I when I come back, then I I was really hungry. I just want to show them. No, I'm on the top level, so I just want to show them. So after the first season, what you said, I was player of the year, and it was really fun to play for them because Åge Hareide, who bring me back again, we played 63 games in a row and we didn't lose one game, and we had a really, really strong team, and it was really good. So I've been home for 1 year, and then I got the offer from Galaxy because
Really?
you remember when David Beckham he went there, and the coach from Galaxy we went to La Manga in Spain for a training camp.
Yep.
And they also come. There was a team from Spain, from America, and from Norway. And then we played the tournament, and then he saw me there, so I just got the offer. They want to buy me from Rosenborg, but then I've been out for 10 years, and I have got kids. They were in school in Norway, and my wife started in work in Norway. So yeah, so I just said no to this offer. But today I never. Yeah, there was a mistake because it's been fun to play for this team.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that one right at the end, because that's wild. That's wild, right? So you stayed with Rosenborg for a good wee while, but then you moved to Lillestrøm for a couple of seasons. Who at that point were kind of struggling. What brought that decision on? Was that just a case of you just wanted to keep on playing, or?
No, because there was my then I was after I was my contract go out for Rosenborg, and Rosenborg said we want to sign up a new deal, and then Lillestrøm come up, and there was Brann Bergen come up, and I had a few offer, and I was 37, starting to be really old in football. So and my wife, she was from Kongsvinger, just near Lillestrøm, and we've been talking about moving to Oslo and stay there, because I have a daughter who playing handball in Norway. It's quite big handball in Norway.
Excellent.
And so they want to go to there, and I think, okay, for me now it's my kids, if they want to be professional, and in this day game, so maybe it's time to give the place to them, and then I said, but still I can play for Lillestrøm, so that's why I signed up for Lillestrøm. But then when I moved to Lillestrøm, there was my end of and that then I start to get all the small injury, because I starting to be old. So I just there was not a good time in Lillestrøm.
And then a short move to Strømgodset, and then tell us about your surprising return for your short spell with Kongsvinger.
Yeah. Kongsvinger, we start with after Rosenborg. I went to Kongsvinger, and when I was young, and when I left Kongsvinger, it's a small place in Norway. It's what can I say? I met my wife there, and it's a small club, and but I just like the club. I like the town as well. And then I said to Kongsvinger, to the newspaper, when I left the second time to the Bundesliga, Austria. I just said I'm gonna retire in Kongsvinger when I come back again, and then I just gonna play for free. I said. And they never forgot that, you know, they never forgot it. So when I moved to, then I was 37, 38. I went to Strømsgodset in Norway, played in the Bundesliga in Norway, Tippeligaen, and because I just helped them, so they just gonna stay in the Liga, and you know, we stayed, and the coach just want to sign up a one year contract with me, and I said no, I have to retire now. And the next day, the newspaper just phoned me from Kongsvinger and said, hey, and there was the same journalist, you know, like 15 years after I talked with him, and he said, do you remember what you said? You said you're going to retire in Kongsvinger. And then I said, oh, shit. And then I just said to him, okay, but what I said, if Kongsvinger are in the Premiership in Norway, because then they were in the first division, the next year, then I'm going to retire. That's what I said to him. And then he said, yeah, but if Kongsvinger win the next 6 games now, they will go up. And I 100%, I was 100% sure that never going to happen. So I just said, of course, then I'm going to come and play for you. And every week you just keep winning and winning and winning, and they win all the 6 games. They go up, and then I just go there and play for them for free for 1 year.
Well done. A man of your word. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, 38-year-old, your career is finished in football. You played 524 matches. You scored 70 goals. You played in 5 different leagues, as well as several different domestic cup competitions, but other competitions including the Champions League, the UEFA Cup, the Intertoto Cup, as well as the Anglo-Italian Cup. For anybody young listening, that's your dad. And as well as you represented your country 52 times, scoring 4 goals, including playing at the 1998 World Cup in France and the Euros in Belgium and the Netherlands in 2000. Right. So I'm gonna bring you back. Right. So I've got it down here in front of me. Have you any major regrets? Now, I wouldn't suggest you with the major regrets, but do you have any regrets? Any things, sliding door moments that you wish I'd tried that, or I wish I'd done that? I'd be interested to touch on the Galaxy thing again, because I think that's huge.
Yeah, the Galaxy, you know, I really get that, because it would been really nice to play in USA, and after that, you seen is the football there have been quite huge now and go there and play with Beckham. That would be nice, I think. You know, so I really get, yeah, I really get that. So, but you know, it's if what I have said many times before, you know, for me the best experience or the best club for me is not just because you're sitting here, but that is Celtic, because I just love the culture. I love the football they're playing. You know, for me was I'm not a feinschmecker, what you said in Norway. I don't have the best technique, you know, but and go in and play a football where we can go out and, yeah, what can I say? Physical football, you know.
Yeah.
And I just love the fans. I love Brazenhead. I had a amazing time in Glasgow, and every year I travel to Glasgow with my friends and see the games, and yeah, that was a really good, and of course there would be nice to try the Premier League as well. You know, I had the opportunity to play for Everton, but then I moved to the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga was a great experience. So yeah.
I
You
suppose
cannot
that
get
one
them.
is kind of played off against each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now, before we have a wee look at Celtic's next week opponents, you, to me anyway, have made the unusual step, well, for a football player, you've rejected the opportunity to stay involved in football, which I would imagine you've had loads of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And you started building summer houses in Norway.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, you're now, I think, I'm not sure what it is in English, marketing and sponsorship manager for a large supermarket chain in Norway. Is that right?
That's right.
So tell us about that. Tell us how, especially the summer houses. I mean, it's quite
Yeah.
a
Yeah, there was when when I started up in roughly 1998 in the World Cup. Before I went to the World Cup in 1998, I start to buy land in Norway, near the sea in Norway. So when the Norwegian people want to go for holiday, they want they go to different places in Norway and near the sea, because we have the sea in Norway is beautiful. We have the mountain. So I start to buy up land in Norway and build up summer houses, and so near the sea, so you can have the boat there, and go for if you have a house or a flat in the town in Trondheim, it's a quite big town, and then you can just jump in the boat. 20 minutes, you're into the summer house in Frosta, where I come from. So I start to build up there, and I have 36 people who work for this company. And after that, I start to build up roads in Norway. So building roads and yeah. So this company, I have how many? We have 32 people there as well. So now I have around 70 people who work for me in the company. So we are two owners, and so I've been build that up in the last time when I come back to Rosenborg. I know after I retired, I have to do something. So I start to build that up when I play football, because it was much easier. Because it was easier to me to talk to people, because they know me. So I start to invest in flats, houses, summer houses, and then this company Rema 1000, they have like in 7 countries, they have around small shops, like 4,200 small shops. In Norway, they have around 1,000 food shops in Norway. They have 1,000 food shops in Denmark. They have around yeah, it's 10.2 billions in the year they earn. So that is quite the big company. And so what I doing for them is I signed up sponsor deals. So for example, when Celtic play Rosenborg, they will see on the jerseys Rema 1000. That is the shop is similar to Tesco, when in Britain. So that's my job, and so what can I say? I'm traveling around, look football, look handball, skiing, do all the fun stuff, and I get paid for it.
Very good, very good. I mean, I listened to the podcast you done with Marcus and stuff like that, and you were mentioning that, and I was like, wow, what? Your dad done well by you, didn't he? He drummed that into you right from the beginning.
Yeah. That was, but that was important for him, and I'm really happy about it today, because when he said no to Rosenborg, because he also said, okay, if you get an injury tomorrow, you cannot play football anymore, and if you have no work to go back to, what you gonna do then? So I understand what he mean. He just thinking for me, because I was so young. And I'm really happy. I'm a plumber today, but don't call me if you get a problem.
Okay, we'll move on, right? So Bodø Glimt, the Norwegian Eliteserien champions for the last 2 seasons. The most recently was in December. Celtic were drawn with Bodø Glimt for the next round, and will entertain them at Celtic Park next Thursday evening for another game under the disco lights. a tough tie, no doubt. But we'd like to, before we get your thoughts and we touch on your knowledge, because I presume that you keep in touch with the domestic football. I would presume so. And so I'm just going to give a quick background. So I'm just going to rattle through this, right? So both clubs entered the Champions League qualifiers in the summer. Glimt were paired with Legia Warsaw in the first qualifier, but exited the competition at the first hurdle. A 3-2 defeat at home, followed by a 2-0 away defeat. Celtic, of course, were drawn and put out with Midtjylland. Celtic dropped into the third qualifier of Europa, whilst Glimt docked directly into the Europa Conference that we're going to meet in. Both progressed to the groups. Celtic unfortunately finished third in their group and dropped into, whilst Glimt came second in the group with Roma Zora Luhansk of Ukraine and CSK Bulgaria, Sofia of Bulgaria. 3 wins and 3 draws took them through, with league winners Roma with 12 points from a possible 18, including a 6-1 home win and a 2-2 away draw with Roma included. Now, Bodø Glimt.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that you would, for short, you would call them Glimt rather than Bodø? Would that be
we call them Bodø Glimt, yeah. So
you just say the whole name. There's no.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
So
So not traditionally a club that wins much in Europe, in Norway, but nowadays I would say very, very highly thought of within Norway. Would that be correct?
yeah, that will be correct, yeah, because Bodø Glimt always been a small team in Norway. That been the farmer team for Rosenborg, because
Right.
Rosenborg, they also, when they signed up young players, they send them to Bodø Glimt, and after 1 or 2 years, they took them back again, you know. So they work like they work together, you know, and so Rosenborg been number 1 all the time. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjær, when he was the coach for Molde Football Club, Celtic played against Molde as well. You know, I saw this game. That was not good because Celtic they lost this game, and so Molde, they start to build up. You know, they have lots of money, and Bodø Glimt, they just signed up an amazing coach, and the coach he start to pick some players we never heard about, you know, in Norway. They got them for free in Division 2 and 3, and yeah, it just put together a team who work really hard together. And for 2 years ago, they just won the league, you know. They played excellent football. They played 4-3-3, and when they win the ball, he just want to when they win the ball, just with pace, just go straight to the other goals and try to score goals, you know. And they play 4-3-3, so they play the same system as Nils Arne Eggen done in the back days in Rosenborg, and they play brilliant football. And the last 2 years they've been the best team in Norway, and and that is in the north in Norway, you know. So when the Celtic fan come to Bodø, I just they have to bring a jacket because it's really really cold. They can be snowing at this time as well, and it's really really small place. You have the town, so when you land with the plane, you can see the hotel, and you can see the ground, and you can see one of the shops. That's everything. So I went up there when Roma come, you know, and Mourinho come to the ground. It was snowing and everything, you know, and but for them is that normal, you know. So when they walk on the pitch, you know, that they just play so good football. So I will say Celtic played Rosenborg in the good day. They played Molde in the good day for Molde and Rosenborg. But at the moment, I think Bodø Glimt are a better team.
Better team than Celtic, or better team than both the Molde and Rosenborg?
Molde and Rosenborg.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. It's right. So can we talk about? I'm going to try this, and I'm happily to be corrected here. Kjetil Knutsen. Would that be the coach?
Yeah.
Right. So tell me a bit about him. Like you say, there's not much history. I mean, he's not got a great playing history, and he seems to have been a lower league manager, then assistant manager.
Mm.
But just as you said, he's come out of nowhere. He's blew the rest of the league away with these fantastic young signings, like even guys like yourself. So has that led to any interest from other clubs with regards him, or is he just content with
Oh
his?
yeah. He had from Austria, had the from Bundesliga and Rosenborg. They want to sign them up. The best deal ever in Norway. Sweden. He had from Denmark, FC København. They also looked at him, but still he want to stay in Bodø because he has his family there, and he like to work with players the other teams don't believe on,
Right,
and
okay.
also last year he Rosenborg just gave away one of the strikers last year, and this striker went to Bodø Glimt, and after 1 year, he was the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, no, in the Premiership in Norway, and now they just signed him for 10 million pound or something. So Bodø Glimt, they played really good. They qualified in the European Cup. They start to get lots of money. They sold players, they got lots of money, and now they start to buying good quality players.
Mm.
That's why Bodø Glimt are so good at the moment. So now they have the preseason. So for Celtic is it's good they meet them early, because
Mhm,
they have the
mhm.
preseason.
So, before we kind of look at that, we'll talk about the guys. So, I'm led to believe Eric Botheim.
Yeah,
Is
Erik
that the
Botheim was
guy?
he was the
He,
striker. They just sold him for a few months ago.
he's left the club and since winning the league, and he's went to Krasnodar.
Yeah,
Patrick Baird, who's been majorly highly rated Norwegian international, he's left for Lons. I
yeah.
mean, how good was he? Was he the real deal?
Yeah, I mean, he was a good, everybody talking about, now they're talking about Bodø Glimt. They are not so good when he left the club because he was the captain, played in the regular in the national team in the midfield. He was a really good player. But now he just signed up another guy we never heard about. And they played 2 games now, and he was man of the match the last 2 games. So uh, it's strange, he just find clubs in like players in Division 2, 3, and just bring them in, So
Aye.
he's a good
But
coach, strange coach.
I mean, look, it's interesting because I'm new. Usually when I do this, I look at who's left and I kind of look at the positives from a Celtic side. So Fredrik Andre Bjorken, the left
Yeah,
back, he's left for the Bundesliga. He's went to Hertha Berlin. Alec Londal went to Sweden for a team called Kalmar. Marcus Loda, the centre back, he's moved to Schalke in the Zweite Liga. But then we'll talk about, so we'll get Frederick Svold,
yeah.
18-year-old midfielder signed from Tyler. He's a
Mm-hmm.
former Rosenborg youth. Danish
Mm-hmm.
under 21 player Jaffet Seri Larsen, centre back for Brann. A
Yeah,
23-year-old Norwegian under 21 centre Gauta Hoberg Vetti for
mm-hmm.
Sparsvik. Is this the guy you're talking about, the centre mid?
Yeah, it's a set a bit, yeah. So
For
and also
300,000.
you saw from Brandbergen they just signed up on the left because Brandbergen they go down to Division 1,
Mhm.
and then the first signing he just signed him up because he believed in him, and he just said everybody the newspaper said, why can you sign him up, because is he a good player? And they said he's quick, he is only have one problem. And what is the problem? Brandbergen, they didn't they didn't give him the respect, and everything sit in the head. So I just gonna turn that around so he believe in himself, and then he will play well for us. And he been playing so well. So
What a
yeah,
good coach. What a good
yeah,
coach.
he's a
See
really
when you
good
hear
coach.
that, I mean, we'll come and talk about Celtic. We'll finish off with a wee chat about Celtic, just your opinions. But see, when I hear that, because how many young guys are lost to football because they're brought into a big club and they don't get looked after. They don't get appreciated for how young they are.
Yeah.
And you hear a guy like that, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant because it's so many good players. I've been to many clubs. I played for 12, 13 clubs almost, and I've seen so many players who haven't got the chance, they're great players, but they haven't got the chance, and then they just retired, so it's I think it's really nice to see you have like a coach who believe on young players and give them a chance. So, and after the first year as well, when they got the title for 2 years ago, they left 6 players, I think, from
Right.
Bodø Glimt. They just sold them, and then they say, okay, now it's Rosenborg and Molde, because they just buy expensive players. Next year, this year, 2021, they won the league again, Bodø Glimt,
Unbelievable.
So so we will we'll see what's happening
Right.
this year.
So I'm going to put you in the spot now, right? I presume you've seen enough of Celtic to have an opinion and where they stand, and obviously you've watched a lot of Bodø Glimt. How do you see this game going, or how do you see these games going?
Yeah.
Do you think the artificial surface for Bodø Glimt will play a big part?
Uh, I think Celtic have to do it when they come to Bodø. They have to do it there because
Right.
Bodø Glimt, they play really well at home, and but the good thing, it's when Roma come to Bodø, Bodø Glimt, they play so well. There was freezing cold there, but the Celtic, they are used to that because when I played in Glasgow as well, there was terrible weather, but I just love Glasgow, so they are used to that. So that is not going to be a big surprise for them. But it's it's a small stadium. Of course, it's going to be a full stadium, and Bodø Glimt, they just try to go out with a high tempo, and if you can, if Celtic just what can I say, play good defensive football there, then I'm sure. But I mean, in the beginning, because they play on the what you call Astra, what you call it is
artificial.
yeah. So, and then I think they will they have a good chance. But if they just go and stay high on them, in the beginning, I think there could be a problem. But it's normally Celtic. If you look at the teams, Celtic have a better squad as Bodø Glimt. But Bodø Glimt, they work really hard for each other, and that's why they have done it so well the last 2 years. So
it sounds like it's going to be a really good set of games. Looking at how Celtic play and everything you've told me and everything I've read about them, it sounds like it's going to be practically unmissable because it's going to be it should be a lot of goals.
Yeah, I think it's going to be lots of goals, because the coach always say, I would either lose 5-4 as 1-0, he said, he always want to because he just said, okay, the way I want to play football is number one, the people who come to the ground, they want to see offensive football. They don't come to the ground and put in money and see a team who play around their own 16-yard box. He said, he always, I just love him when he said that, So we're just gonna go out and we always gonna stay high, even if you play Rosenborg or Kongsvinger or Roma. He said we're always gonna go up, and then we will see if you are good enough or not, And but then we have tried. His philosophy is offensive football. So
it sounds so much like Ange Postecoglou's football. It sounds the exact same message. Now, but tell me, you're on the stage. Will Celtic progress?
I think in these two games, Celtic will win. I think so because and if you've been, yeah, they have lost 5-6 plays. What we talk about, they've come, but you know, I cannot understand year after year if you find the players in the North Pole or you just find them everywhere. You know, we never heard about them, young players. But I think the squad this year is not so good as the last year. So, but so yeah. I have to say what I said to the Norwegian newspaper. I said I think Celtic gonna win.
Good man, good man. Okay, well, we'll finish off just with a wee chat. I mean, how much of Celtic this season have you seen, and what's your thoughts been?
I seen I seen so many games in because we have it on the telly here as well, you know.
Oh, very
So
good.
yeah, so I see most of the game, and they've been a little. I have to say they've been up and down. I have
Mhm.
to say that, but some of the game been good, I think. So all in all, I will say we've been a little bit up and down, but we can, yeah, they're building on something. So hopefully they will get a really good team again.
Have you been impressed by anybody? Any of the new signings? I mean, guys like Jota and obviously Kyogo have been the standouts, but Carl Starfelt at the back. I mean,
Yeah, you know, when you have like Scott Brown, it's when he played for you have like, what can I say? When you have like these players who just always go out and give 100% all the time,
mhm.
and when other players come and want to take over this position, this of course is difficult when you have a good players. You can mention the players who took over for Henrik Larsen as well. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No. So, but all in all, I think they have done a few good signings. So hopefully they will do it again.
Good man. Okay, Vidar, thank you once again for your time. Thank you for your stories. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I look forward to seeing you in the Brazen Head.
Yeah.
Um,
Next time when I come, you have to promise me and the Celtic fan as well. Next time I'm gonna bring a new people. We're gonna come over with 30-40 people from Norway. Then you have to come to Brazenhead and sing and have and drink some beers with us.
oh yes, I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Well, Vidar Riseth, thank you very much, and good luck to you. Good luck with your company. Good luck with the summer houses, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. A pleasure. Okay.